All right, we are going to be talking today about going through every single pair of Bruce bolts that I have, and we're going to be putting them on a ranking scale. We're going to use the S tier, and one of the big things that we are going to focus on is because I like every single pair I have, we're going to make it a little bit more challenging by adding only one of the pairs that I have can be S tier. So everything else we will have to put under, but only one of them can actually be S tier. And we're going to go over all of the different pairs, and these are what we have for today. So we got a bunch of different ones, as well as we currently have a giveaway going out that will be announced on Christmas, which is going to be this pair of the Max Clark. So first off, if you haven't entered that, that is currently going live. There's a short and there's this post in the community section if you want to enter it, if you haven't already. But that is here's what we got for these. So these are the Max Clarks that will be given away. So that'll be coming on Christmas Day. So just a heads up for that if you have not already entered. All right, making sure you guys can hear me as well. Okay, so these are the 6 that we're going to be going through. And like I said, only one of them actually gets to be S tier. Every other single pair has to be something else. It's just the rules. It's the only way to make it fair. So we are going to be starting with one of my favorite pairs. So these are the Bader, and they're the short cuff. And so I've actually probably swung the most with these. As you can see, like they're a little bit worn, but honestly still in really, really good shape. But I'm a huge fan of these, and I do like long cuff. I also like short cuff, but the reason I like these so much is the different color of like the red and then the purple, but also I kind of like the tan palm. And these have held up really, really well. So there's still no like tearing or anything within this. Honestly, the only marks it have are really from like pine tar. So that's been the only reason that these have any like scuffs on them. But these are one of my absolute favorites. I also like sometimes with short cuff, they're just a little bit less kind of on the wrist. So they feel nice. I like these as short cuffs, and the Bader's colorway is absolutely one of my favorites. So the hard decision is that these for me are one of my favorites, but for today and our scale, these are going to be put in the A tier. So these are one of my favorites. So if you're looking for like a bright color, if you have any red on your team, these are absolutely sick. So these are going in A tier. And then for the next pair that we have, we are going to go into one of the most recent drops that we have, which is the Coach Rack drop. So I feel like everybody knows who Coach Rack is. So these are probably the newest pair that I have. I haven't really swung with them very much, but these are also short cuff. And these have a little bit of like, again, similar palm, but then they also have like Coach Rack's logo and some little details in them. And so similar to the Bader pair being short cuff, what I really like about these is the kind of, there's the green and yellow, which is pretty obvious, but then in between the fingers is the blue and on the bolt, which I think is interesting, adding both green, yellow, and blue, plus the tan. So I really, really like them. Again, super comfortable. I think that they did a really good job with this collection and with this drop, again, kind of matching the bananas. So for me, this as our second pair of gloves, and having to actually be hard because otherwise everything would be an A or an S tier. These for me are going to be B tier. I really, really like them. I think they're sick. I have to grade them hard. I would highly recommend these as well, but we'll go with a B on these. All right, now we're getting into some of the classic ones that we have. So one that I really, really like, that I feel like was one of the first ones and one of the most popular ones, is part of the Creator Series, and it's these. So these also have the pink on the inside. Everything about these has the same matching color. You have the pink, sunrise. These are also long cuff. So these were, I think, the first or second pair I actually got. But these have held up really, really well. And then one thing that I like too about these is on the wrist, you can actually see the color kind of changes. So it's like a sunrise. So that's a big fan. Let me see if I can fix this. So different from the long cuff and short cuff. Again, with these, you have a little bit more like wrist support. So you have to close down first and then kind of wrap it around. But I really like how these look. I love the color combo of these. I think that the sunrise was probably, I believe it's one of their best selling pairs. And it's also been one of like their longest selling pairs. So for me, this is one of my favorites. That's again a little bit more plain on the outside of just the white. But for me, these are going to get, it's between an A or a B. And honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with a B. These, I love them, they're great, but I'm gonna put them in the B, mainly just because you got a rate card. So those are one of my favorites. And then next up, we have probably the loudest pair that they have ever made, the Caribbean gloves. So these are, if you haven't seen them, by far like the most neon and brightest colors. Again, I have these in short cup, but I really like the different color combinations. I like the fact that the inside is entirely pink, and they did a really, really good job with the neon. So if these are a little bit too bright for you, then these might not be your favorite. But for me, I think that these are absolutely electric. So these are also going in my A tier. These are one of my favorite pairs. I think that the brightness and the color combo is amazing. So these are one of my favorites. So these are an A tier, which gets us close to, we still don't have an S tier. One of the like OG ones was the Ian Happ batting gloves. So these, unlike the other ones, have a gray color inside, and then the white with the red. And these to me are a little bit more of like, again, they're not quite as shiny. Really, besides like the red lightning bolt in the middle, they're all pretty neutral colors. Let me pull these on. So these for me, again, I like these a lot. But out of the 6 I have, I'm going to probably put these as a C tier. Again, love the color. I love baby blue. It's one of my favorite colors. But that's what we got for today, which gets us to our next pair, which is the Max Clarks. So for me, the Max Clarks were a really cool combination. Not only did they get to actually collaborate with Max Clark, but I feel like they also got the colorway perfect with these. I think the fact that the difference of the color on this one being pink with blue on the inside, and then as you can see, this one is the opposite. I like kind of the contrast style. So you got pink and blue, blue and pink. And I think that that is awesome, especially with what they did on both of the lightning bolts also being different colors. So really pretty much each glove is just a complete flip side. So for me, these are my S tier of the gloves that I own. They are, I think, one of my favorites because they also nailed it as far as getting like the colors. I think that pink and baby blue were probably the most popular baseball colors this year, which I think is kind of funny. And so I feel like they did a perfect job of combining those two colors and really kind of getting it right. So I was a big fan of these, and that's why I'm giving away the other pair of them. That way, again, these are my S tier pair of batting gloves. So that's the pair that I wanted to give away. And so hopefully that giveaway will be announced on Christmas, hopefully make somebody's Christmas day, which I'm excited about. But now that I've shared with you out of mine what my S tier is, my question is, what is your S tier pair of Bruce Bolts? And you can only pick one.